Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Cinematic Trinity, where we talk movies, games and TV shows new and old. So this week we're going to be talking about Christopher Eccleston's run on Doctor Who, so let's get into it. So we decided to watch this because Kieran hadn't experienced the Christopher Eccleston run properly. Did you watch any of the episodes when you were like younger, or?
I can't remember any of them. I kind of remember picking it up when David Tennant took over, and so he kind of by default became my favourite Doctor. But I never really got the chance to experience the Christopher Eccleston side, so it was quite nice to get like the chance to go back and watch it. I'm glad that they have it all on iPlayer still for anyone to watch. So
definitely.
Yeah, I think it's been a really nice experience because he's very different from David Tennant.
Oh
He's
definitely
got his very unique spin on it. So
it's very like he's gone from like being quite underrated to like everyone really appreciates him now.
Yeah, I think they are appreciating him a lot more, and I think maybe it wasn't. I can't remember if it was or whether it was just a coincidence. But when we said, "Oh, let's watch it again, watch the first series again" for Kieran, I was also at the same time getting loads of clips up on my TikTok and whatever of people talking about him and whatever. So I think I think people are realizing that even though it's only one season, he's not necessarily you don't almost like look back on Doctor Who and think about Christopher Eccleston like you do just think about David Tennant and maybe Matt Smith, and then the others not so much. But he's like it is very not confined in a bad way, but like this series is very much a series. Like I think it all just like conjoins really well together, doesn't it? And Christopher Eccleston does hold it together very well.
I think it's just one of those like first series of TV where it's kind of like this may not continue from this point, so we might as well try and like wrap it up in a concise way. Which it does, because as I say, there's like an overarching story, there's a conclusion where he like regenerates into David Tennant, so it's kind of like, oh, well, if people like this, we can continue with this new guy, but if they don't, then that's it.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, if it was like received poorly, which it wasn't, and it's pretty much why like that 2005 revival of Doctor Who is basically kickstarted,
where we are
basically
now,
introduced Doctor Who into our lives again, it's not like we would have gotten into it again if it weren't for Christopher Eccleston and his run of Doctor Who.
Absolutely. And I think it was quite interesting just reading up on it, because I didn't even I knew it was a long time ago, but to think about 2005, like that is such that's nearly 20 years ago, which is absolutely insane. And I was reading, and the fact was that the first episode, it had 10.8 million viewers over I think it was like 9 million like on the actual day, and then like from the first week on like catch up and stuff it went up to 10.8 million, so that was kind of the figure that they used. And it was only 4 days after its initial airing of the first episode that it then got signed off for season 2. So I think it just went to show how well it was received. And it wouldn't have been as good if Christopher Eccleston wasn't as good as he was in the series. Like I do think he's like absolutely brilliant in it. I think it's a real show. I think looking back on it, it's good that it's just one series, because it is what it is. It's there, it's done, and there was no chance for it to get ruined by doing like more series. But at the same time, I would have loved to have seen him more.
Yeah, because there was like behind the scenes falling out like with the producers and like the showrunners at the time, which meant Christopher Eccleston had to like cut his time short as the Doctor. And like there's plenty. I was saying this to Kieran because a clip came up on my YouTube for him like just going to like Comic-Con and stuff and like interacting with fans. It's like I'm glad he can still talk to people about Doctor Who. It's not like a Harrison Ford situation where he hates it kind of thing. So it's kind of like he could still laugh with the fans and stuff. It's just he just
doesn't like the people that worked on it. He doesn't necessarily hate Doctor Who. He just doesn't necessarily.
It's like he sets the boundary with the fans, being like, I love this role. I love talking to you about it. But if you want me to come back, then production stuff needs to change, because there was that whole video where he's like
recently. It's funny how everything. It's like once you start talking about something, suddenly everybody is talking about it. So I
imagine, because I feel like it's always the case when like a new Doctor comes up, because I started seeing the clips when obviously David Tennant came back and Ncuti Gatwa came back, and it's basically like, oh, whatever happened to Christopher Eccleston? Why doesn't he come back? And then like a clip surfaces of him being like, sack Russell T Davies, sack Phil Collinson, and then I'll come back.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So yeah, I think just like his performance as the character and stuff, he's just really good. He plays like a different. He's very like a cynical, just like, because in the context of the show, like, he's a time traveler and stuff, but like before that point there'd been like a whole war off screen,
the time war,
which he'd been a part of, and it's basically he's just like the sole survivor of that war, and it's like his guilt and him processing that kind of thing. So it's just
really good like character development, even though we've not seen it. Like, we know enough about it throughout, and we learn enough about it throughout the episodes, and it's to like really like understand it.
It's a good like sort of recontextualizing or like introducing people to certain aspects, like, oh, this is a Dalek in the Time War. I fought the Daleks, therefore bad guy. It's not like you needed to watch all 40 years of Doctor Who beforehand to be like, oh, I know what what's a Dalek. So it does like that good, and then just adds a layer because it's sort of him. Just meeting this character and him trying to come to terms with what happened, and just very angry man, but very funny. I don't know what did you like?
Yes, as the person who's not actually watched it before, let's ask Kieran what he thinks about it, having seen it from the first time.
I feel like his performance is almost quite modern. Like his kind of humour and stuff is almost kind of like, it's definitely like up my avenue. Like a lot of what he does, it's very like deadpan, and he kind of a lot of sarcasm.
Yeah,
and I mean I can't properly remember a lot of the other Doctors. Maybe they are like similar, but I think he just put like a completely different spin on it to anything I'd seen before. So I think that was just really nice to kind of experience. But there's lots of things, like you can see like kind of the undertones of like anger against like, different things, and he doesn't really I don't know the way to say it without swearing. He doesn't take a lot of crap.
Yeah.
Like if someone does something wrong, that's it. He doesn't like to give second chances, really. Because he's obviously been through this, like he's been on his own, and now he's like trying to let people back in. So that's quite a difficult.
He's very like
difficult thing to do.
Blunt as well. Like I like it's like one of his first interactions is with Jackie, when it's like, oh, I'm here in my dressing gown and there's a strange man in this room, and he's just like, no, and just like goes to leave. Just like, no, this is not going where you think it is. But he is just
very matter of fact, isn't he?
I get completely. Now you say, like, I get completely what you mean about like his comedy being like more. It's very like cynical and just like sort of So the sarcasm stuff is so like good.
Adult, not in like adult way, but like grown up. Like it's probably like the better phrase. It's quite grown up, like the writing and the humour in it. And I think it's funny because like I think a lot. Obviously, we all loved it when we were kids. I mean, I don't remember watching it when it first came out, but I remember like other kids talking about it, and then I think I got into it in David Tennant and kind of went back to watch them. But I think it just goes to show like it doesn't need to be like written in such a way that is for kids, even though it kind of is for kids. Like it can still be like have grown up themes and grown up writing and grown up jokes in the way that it's all like portrayed, but still be like good for all generations, and I think that's what's so good about this. Like you can be really young and watching it and love it, you can be our age and love it, and like older, and like I don't think I'm gonna watch this when I'm 50 and be like, I can't believe I used to like that. Like I'm pretty sure I'm still gonna love it just because of how well done it is.
Yeah, I guess like if you compare it to like maybe like in 50 years watching like a Jodie, like not again, I'm not gonna hamper on because it's Jodie Whittaker, but like just because her like season of Doctor Who was like the weakest I've watched.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be like, I wouldn't put that on in 50 years being like, oh, chuck on the Flux special of Jodie Whittaker. Whereas I could be like, oh, chuck on the Dalek episode of Christopher Eccleston,
Absolutely.
or like, David Tennant's like whole run. I think if we like dive into the series, because we're gonna like at our end give our like favorite episode, like individual episodes we liked. But like, there's a lot of standout episodes here which you kind of forget until you watch it. And you're like, oh my god, that was like Christopher Eccleston's run. Or like, oh my god, this is such a good.
I think sometimes
episode.
You don't remember. Like I always thought with The Empty Child, like I've loved that episode for a long time, but I've never thought about it being Christopher Eccleston. I never just thought, oh, when it was Christopher, and it's funny to like go back and think, oh yeah, that was his episode. That was like during that. That wasn't just David Tennant. It's not just David Tennant in every single episode of Doctor Who ever, which is what it like feels like when I think about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there you go.
What's like not like sort of your favorite episode, but what's like some points that like jumped out to you like when you were watching it? You know, were there like certain scenes or like, you know, episodes that made you sort of go, oh.
I think there's I mean, one of the things that made me really want to watch it is because like I've been seeing clips like come up on my feed. And like there's one that's just been circulating for years and I've just never kind of associated it with Doctor Who. But it's the one in the Dalek episodes where he just like shouts at the Dalek. He's just like, oh, you want an order? Why don't you just die? It's just so funny.
That's like an episode where like, again, it's probably just our sense of humour, but like it's definitely one where like it is very serious. Like he hates the Daleks, but like just certain stuff he says, like it's just so you just couldn't help but laugh. But it was just like the, you know, you want orders, kill yourself, and it's just like so deadpan kind of thing.
That's the thing. It's like his delivery,
so
like
good.
he gets away with it almost. Like I feel like, as you say, like Jodie Whittaker, or even like David Tennant, like because of the style of they're all their own individual people, even though it's the Doctor. Nobody else could get away with that.
I wouldn't be able to see like David Tennant. Like it wouldn't fit my image of him.
Yeah.
But Christopher Eccleston like did it so
Brilliant.
well.
Yeah.
I also really liked the kind of, you know, like the implications of the one where Rose meets her dad.
Oh yeah.
Like where he kind of like realizes on his own, this is happening because of me. I need to die. And like you kind of think like when you actually think about what's going on, you're like, wow, like the fact that he's able to like see that that's what's going wrong, like accept that he has to die, and then like, you know,
that's such a good episode to feel like. That's one of like the real like I just don't feel like there's that many Doctor Who episodes where there is like a heartfelt story, because that's basically like Rose's dad is dead, like in the context of the first few episodes, so she's like, oh, take me back in time just so someone can be there with him when he dies, because he got hit, you know, it was a hit and run, he got ran over. And then she just messes it up and saves him, but then that leads to obviously just time getting messed with.
Yeah.
And it's like the Reapers who like have never showed up again. Like they just never do. Like it kind of, I find that weird because like the episode introduces like paradoxes and like time going wrong, but they just never really show up when there is other paradoxes or like people interfering. So, but they were a really cool like one-off villain. They're just like massive dragons basically hunted down. But like even like the Doctor gets like wiped out in that episode, so like, he's gone, and as you say, it's basically up to Rose's dad to be like, I have to sort it, which is like just that finale where it's like him saying goodbye, and it's, you know,
it's really sad.
It is. I even like the bit where he just susses out that Rose, you know, his daughter, and like he works that out by himself, and then it's like he's just so happy that she's come back in time, not quite realising why she's done it, kind of thing. So really good, like just emotional episode.
Yeah, it's good writing, really, isn't it?
It is, yeah. What about you two? What are sort of like, again, not sort of strictly your favourite episodes, but are there like certain bits in this series that jump out to you?
Well, I'll talk about the main thing then, which is the whole overarching story of the entire series, which I just think is so good. Like, I don't know why I like it so much. Maybe it's not as good as I think it is, but I like it when there's like a lore and it all like follows through and it all there's good continuity. Like I love it when there's really good continuity. Should I say it again? Like with the Saw films, there's really good continuity within all of those films. Everything is like remembered, and it's just the whole part of this series is Bad Wolf. Wherever they go, Bad Wolf were written across the universe and written in the stars or whatever. And I just think it's brilliant. Like just like planting those little seeds. Like I just think it's like, I don't know why, I just love stuff like that.
It's a good payoff in it. I mean, it's one of those, it's like one of those ones that rewards like repeat watches after you find out the twist, because like there's a bit when Rose realizes the whole Bad Wolf thing, it just cuts back to like previous episodes where it's like a helicopter says Bad Wolf 1 is landing. It's like the graffiti on the side of the TARDIS says Bad Wolf and stuff, and it's all like, oh my god, it was there the entire time, you know.
But then when you watch it, you obviously watch it again, like when we rewatched it, I was like, oh yeah, it's here. Like it does just keep
there's very few
up.
Episodes that it's not in, you know, so
exactly. So it's just I love stuff like that, and I think it is a very good payoff, and I think sort of the way that it's done, how it's kind of like sending a message across the universe to Rose to know that she can get back to the Doctor at his time of need when he's about to die and stuff. Like, I like the story of it. Like, I think it's not just like they've planted all these seeds and then it's just rubbish at the end, or nothing ever happens, or the end of the story is good. It all works out really well, and it's not also like to ram down your throat too much. Like, if you didn't know anything about it, and I imagine, well, I don't know, Kieran, that you watched it for the first time. What was it like? Obvious?
So I knew about Bad Wolf, but I had no idea what the kind of climax of that was.
Right.
Yeah.
I assumed Bad Wolf was referring to some kind of bigger
Villain.
power.
Okay. Yeah.
So I never knew it was like that. So that reveal of Rose like looking into the TARDIS, and then coming out of the TARDIS at the end. Like, I never knew that happened. So I did quite well of avoiding spoilers of that.
For 20 years.
Yeah. So that was quite good to have something that was actually fresh and like wasn't spoiled by the previews of the
we did find that out a lot, like rewatching the show. Like, the previews were so bad in terms of spoilers, like the Dalek episode. Obviously you're not gonna, if you read the TV guide and saw the episode's called Dalek, you know what's gonna come up, but then it's just like at that time of,
I'm sure it was
Sunday time,
but like the preview comes on and it's like, to be fair, it's like setting up like, oh, they're on this base and something's hunting them down, what is it? And then it cuts to the end being like, oh, it's a Dalek.
It's a Dalek, Or like, how cool would it have been to have not known anything and then to watch the episode and all of a sudden it's a Dalek. It's like, oh!
Because they do it again as well in the penultimate episode. It's like, oh, they're in all these game shows and but what's happening here? And then there's Daleks at the end, which is literally like the last 2 minutes of the actual show, like the actual episodes. You're kind of like, why you're literally spoiling the end climax here.
Yeah, exactly. Didn't we watch a whole YouTube video about previews?
Yeah, just how they gone from like being so like vague and like give you small elements to the plot, whereas now like trailers can and sometimes do.
What it was saying was when you watch a show and it's like previously on blah 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 blah, but it tells you almost like what's important throughout the past few episodes. So if somebody had a phone call, they'll play that phone call again. It's like, or they'll show a character that you've maybe not seen since the first episode, and you go, oh, they're going to come back into it this episode because they're in the preview. Like, that's kind of what it's like. It gives a lot away.
It was like that with Game of Thrones, because it was Bran's uncle, the one who became the zombie, and like I think that episode where he comes back, they just did like a promo, and it was like, oh, I can't remember what was his name. Literally no idea, but he's in the promo because Ted Art. Benjen, that's what it was. Benjen. Because it's just like, oh my god, my Uncle Benjen, he's been missing for years. And it's like, oh, I wonder where he is going to pop up. And then he did. Lo and behold, he did.
Yeah.
Doctor Who is definitely, this series definitely was like that. I cannot remember like any of the other.
I can't remember them in being that bad, because
yeah.
I like a bit of I love it when there's a preview for the next episode. I love getting excited for
I like
the
Doctor
next
Who ones
episode.
as well.
Yeah.
I just don't know why. Like those would be like, Netflix, you could like skip it or whatever. But like Doctor Who ones I like to watch because it's just because it's like the theme tune and stuff as well.
It's the theme tune. It's just seeing that little oval logo going across the screen and it's saying next time. It just brings me so much joy. Like it just fills me with happiness. I have to watch it.
If we could film these in advance and we actually had like a good schedule, like backlog of things, we should do like a promo at the end of the cinematic Trinity, and it's just like a good promo. It just spoils the entire podcast. But that was something we learned. Just Doctor Who promos for this series were just very, very bad.
Yeah, they were pretty bad.
Yeah, I don't like promos anymore because I like to experience things fresh. So like a lot of the ones that we watched for this season, it was just a bit like, I would have liked to have seen that in the actual episode. So I mean, if I continue watching them, I'll probably do it. And then like, obviously I'll watch the opening because I normally do watch openings of like the majority of the things I watch. I know you don't, from my experience of watching things with you.
What? The title sequences?
Title sequences. Okay, right.
So I'll obviously carry on watching that because that's what I do, and I know you do for Doctor Who because it's such a good theme.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think I'll definitely skip the previews because I can't.
If
there's David Tennant episodes I haven't seen before, then I
definitely.
I don't want that.
Yeah.
But I am looking forward to some of the because I'll continue watching like some of the Blink and
Oh god, yeah.
There's
Like the
some
one in the
fantastic
library and-
episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Some of
honestly.
You've got some good times ahead of you.
Yeah.
Because
Do you know which
I
one?
have watched those before,
Yeah.
but just not for 10
Yeah,
years.
yeah.
If you've not seen them for a long time, then it is amazing going back to them. I mean, we've seen them like loads of times now. Like
we'll watch them again with you. So
yeah, we're going to watch it again,
do one of these every couple months with
Yeah.
no new Doctor each time.
too.
We'll just do,
Yeah.
was Christopher Eccleston the best Doctor? Was David Tennant the best Doctor?
Yeah.
And continue until we, get bored.
Up until
Basically until
Matt Smith.
Yeah, basically until Matt Smith, yeah. So I think from here, we'll go around and... Because that's like a brief... we can't go episode by episode into this, so...
Too long, innit?
Yeah, so I think we'll start with you, Kieran. What was your favourite episode?
We'll give you a top 3.
Go
Yeah,
for
okay.
it.
Empty Child, Bad Wolf, Father's Day.
Mm.
But Dalek is like
Very
Father's Day and
close.
Dalek are like neck and neck.
Like interchangeable,
Yeah.
almost. Yeah.
What's so good about each of those episodes?
I mean, the Empty Child is just... because... I don't know.
It's
That's the
just
thing,
too
it's
good.
just good.
It's just so good. I mean, I completely agree with you.
It's, because obviously you find out like a little bit more in the Doctor Dancers as well. And then, I like the two-parters in a lot of cases because they are really good and like these little overarching stories. But I think just one touch of this thing and you become like the same. It's like it's a very good kind of like
Concept kind of thing.
very good concept and it's quite good horror, but like children's horror because it's not really scary, but it's kind of like that is like the more you think about it, it's like that's kind of quite terrifying.
I think as an adult, it's something I've definitely appreciated and I rewatches and I freaking love the scene is when he goes to the hospital and he's like scanning all the bodies and they all have the same injuries and it's just the hospital doctor being like injuries as plague and it's like and he's just like they're not actually dead, whacks a stick on the floor and they all like jump up and it's like they kind of just sit there and don't die kind of thing and that whole it's just absolute
and the transformation
oh god it's so good.
It's fantastic.
You hate it
I do hate it. It is awful to watch.
It's
Absolutely
horrifying
horrific.
to watch that.
Nightmare
but like hats
fuel.
off to that because that's 2005.
Yeah.
Amazing.
The fact they did that in
like,
2005.
graphics. Yeah,
incredible.
And I think, to be fair, it's a good central... It's one of the better, mysterious Doctor Who episodes. Like, there's just... What the hell is this kid doing with a gas mask? And it's just, sends the Doctor down all these different paths and stuff. Like, his A plot is really good in that episode.
I don't know why whenever I think about that episode, I always think about the TARDIS phone ringing, and I don't know why I always think about that.
Is it because he's like,
so
what?
Cool. Why are you ringing? Like, you're not supposed to ring. I don't know why. I always just quite like. I think I like the practical. Not effect but it's just practical of him opening the thing and there's a little phone in there and then he just goes I don't know why I always like
well,
that.
It's like the whole Empty Child's power set's really disturbing because it's he can hack into electrical stuff because he does the little monkey is like that because again it's when you're growing up I feel like you probably don't find it creepy now but when you're growing up as a kid it's the whole are you my mummy thing it's very, I think
it's creepy now.
it is
it's creepy now.
Children are terrifying. I'm just going to put that out there. Children are terrifying. Little girl singing in it's pitch black outside. You're a little girl singing Ring a Ring of Roses. Yeah. I'm out of there. I ain't staying.
Yeah.
Is that your reoccurring nightmare, Kieran?
If that happened, oh my god, I wouldn't sleep. Not that I do, but I wouldn't sleep. I'd sleep less. Genuinely terrifying.
So funny. Oh yeah, it is pretty scary.
Yeah, I like as well. It's just it's very much the monster has really innocent intentions because it is literally he's trying to find his mum and he's just causing all this chaos.
The
and
actual story behind it is just genius. If you just forget about all the horror elements and how freaky it is and whatever and how terrifying it is, the story of it.
Yeah.
And obviously the payoff is obviously in the next episode because it's a 2-parter. It's just such a love. I think it's lovely. Do you not think?
Yeah, I've just remembered one of the scenes at the end of the Doctor Dances where the woman says, "Oh, I didn't have a leg before."
Oh yeah.
Oh god, yeah.
remember him laughing into myself.
I didn't like notice the scene because he goes up to like the doctor you met in the hospital and goes like, all right, so basically a lot of your patients are probably gonna be healed now, but you're just gonna say that's because you're such an amazing doctor, and then just like my leg's grown back.
Oh, so good.
Brilliant.
And it's nice to see John Barrowman in it because
Yeah.
I watched a little bit of Torchwood. Can't remember a single thing about it.
Yeah.
But I watched a little bit of Torchwood, and that was really good. So it's nice to see John Barrowman in it.
He's really good in it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know that Torchwood was an anagram for Doctor Who.
Yeah.
And and originally they called, when they were filming Doctor Who, they called it Torchwood, so people didn't know what they were filming. And then because it was an anagram, and then it just stuck. It was never meant to be that Torchwood was a thing. Did you not know that?
I knew
that.
that.
Oh my god! I told you a
idea.
fact that you didn't know. Fantastic.
Michael is a fake fan.
Yeah.
You can no longer say that you like Doctor Who.
I was going to remove myself from this podcast.
I'm not qualified anymore.
Yeah. That's a good fact, though.
That is a good. That
I
is
was
really
very
good.
happy when I found that. Yeah. There you go.
Not sure there's many other shows you can make as an anagram for Doctor Who. Yeah. Just throwing that, you could try.
Doctor How?
Doctor.
That was a rubbish one.
Comment your Doctor Who anagrams below in the comments. So yeah, that was so you've got Empty Child, Father's Day, which you kind of said your points on.
Yeah.
You've already said your points. Can't say any more.
Say no more. You're not getting another word out of me.
And then you said Dalek, didn't you?
No.
No,
Yeah.
I said Bad Wolf.
Bad Wolf, that
was
was it.
2.
Spoilers
Okay.
there.
Mm-hmm.
Spoilers.
Because Dalek's one of mine.
Michael.
So yeah.
Shut up, Michael.
Yeah, Bad Wolf's like the penultimate episode, so.
It's just quite funny, wasn't it? You are the weakest link.
Yeah.
And the android.
Yeah, it is it's dated, but I saw the
In the best way.
it's like a British kid growing up. Like, I mean, to be fair, even like in 2005, I would have been like, "Why is this funny?" And then you realise now, oh, it's because those shows were so big, like Big Brother. Even like just
I feel like if a kid who is maybe like 9 or 10 was watching that episode now, they wouldn't get it.
No.
Like, they might just think it's a good episode anyway, but they wouldn't understand why it's as brilliant as it is. But it's, and I probably didn't appreciate it at the time, like how funny it was, but it's just brilliant.
because it's like it's like a satellite TV station they're on, and they've basically taken these old Earth TV shows and basically just made them deadly, which because
So the Doctor ends up being in Big Brother,
where
when you get evicted, you are like disintegrated.
Evicted
from life. I was gonna say.
yeah.
I love just the serious nature they deliver that line. Just been evicted from life. Just a serious way. And then there's the weakest link, where obviously when you lose a round, you die.
You're disintegrated.
And then to be fair, again,
they do list some of the ones off, don't they?
there's like stars in your eyes and like
where
stuff.
you have stars in your eyes.
I think probably for me the most dated one is because I never really knew, and I only know them because of you, is Trinity and Susanna.
Yeah, Trinity and Susanna are in it. Yeah.
Probably the most because these the weakest link has kind of come back, and so is Big Brother, so they're kind of still a bit current. Whereas like Trinity and Susanna, like. Is that the name of the show?
Well, they
or
used
is
to
it just...
have What Not to Wear, a program, I think it was called, and they did quite a few. They were on telly quite a lot, like back in that time,
like a big fashion,
absolutely,
fashion personalities.
Yeah, so they were kind of there, like and they have scenes with John Barrowman, and like
they're robots.
Yeah, it's not actually Trinity and Susanna; they're robots. Yeah. Do you not just think it's funny? I mean, I don't know if we're going to clip this out, but it's funny when John Barrowman has a scene with Trinity and Susanna, and obviously it's a robot, but the robot's got like boobs, and he just grabs this robot's boob as he's like, I don't know when they're talking, he just grabs a boob and is like,
do you reckon
what
that was
I think that was the intrusive thought.
That was not in the script for him to do that. He was like, John, what are you doing, John? Get off that robot, John Barrowman.
That cracked me, because I don't think I've ever noticed that before.
No, it's literally,
it's quite funny because they brought like no attention to it whatsoever. They said like nothing on it. There's just like one scene, and then it's just like, right, okay, moving on. Oh, so funny. I would really love to think that was just John Barrowman just going,
just
like
being
a
a weirdo.
Maybe just went up to like Russell T Davies afterwards. We're like, can we keep that in? And he's like, why not? Who's gonna care? It's our first
Clearly
series.
we do. He doesn't know that we're doing this podcast in 20 years' time.
We're calling you out, John Barrowman. The only thing I can say that because I'm pretty sure he's been cancelled a couple of times.
I think he has been, funnily, and I think it is for, inappropriate behaviour, So
is, to be fair, Noel Clark as well. He plays Mickey the idiot.
Yeah, but nothing's been... Again, it's like nothing's been...
It's that weird, like...
Let's not get into this.
No, we'll cut...
This is not what this podcast is
I won't cut
about.
this out, but yeah, it's just that weird, like, when you like, rewatch old stuff and you're like, oh, that person's had some stuff, like, come out...
Since then,
isn't it? Like, whereas, like, back in 2005, happily watching this.
Yeah.
Loved me Mickey and Captain Jack
Harkness.
I was about to say Captain Jack Sparrow.
What was that? Captain Jack.
Harkness. Had a fool me once dramatic sting there.
Any time I say someone's full name, I'm gonna turn to you. I'm gonna say Mr. Michael.
Tula, what were your top three?
Well, they're kind of the same because it is Empty Child and then Bad Wolf. And then, what did I say my third one? Oh, I said my third one was the second episode. What's it called?
End of the World.
End of the World, where they go to the end of the world or to the end of the earth, and Cassandra's there, and and there's
Platform
these
one.
little
Spider
robots
droids.
and stuff, and
the memes.
The adherence to the repeated meme.
Yeah, that's it. And he says, "Oh, we were supposed to bring a gift. I give you air from my lungs," and she's like, "Oh, that's brilliant." I don't know. I think that's a really good episode for like a second episode of a brand new TV show. Like it really I was going to say it really slaps, but that's not.
That's very unlike you.
That,
it's like me saying, going clocked one. And,
clocked in one. Yeah.
And
I don't say slapped. I can't think of
and it's on record. So
yeah, I can't think of what the other. It's really good, basically.
I think it's a good it's a good almost like introduction to the alien.
The world.
We can do aliens well in this show. Like,
and there's actually a lot of the episodes in this series are based on Earth. And I said I really like it when there's Doctor Who episodes that are on Earth and kind of like in this time. And Michael was like, well, there's loads of episodes. And I was like, well, actually there is in this series. I think as it goes on, there's, more...
It's just like as the budget gets bigger, it's like, here's an alien planet. Whereas like probably in that series particularly, it's like, look, we've only just brought this show back. We'll try and like minimise it to Earth, and maybe one or two episodes we can go.
Yeah.
Because even then, it's like they don't really go to any. They go to They go to 2 space stations.
Well, they go to the same space station twice.
Yeah.
They go to Satellite 5 across 3 different episodes, technically. So they can use that same set for 3 episodes. Good budgeting.
God, it is. It's just very Earth related, isn't it?
It is very Earth related.
It's 2 space stations in Earth's orbit as well. It's not even like across the universe. It's all like very Earth centric series. So there you go. Yeah.
But anyway, I liked that episode.
Yeah.
Second episode.
Yeah.
What about you, Michael?
Yeah, so I think to try and differ a bit, I was going to go for the Doctor Dances, which is the second part of the Empty Child episode. And then number 2 was going to be the finale, Parting of the Ways. And then number 1 was Dalek.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that is a really good episode. I think it's a very good episode.
I think Doctor Dances is just like a good. That's like probably one of the best Doctor Who 2-parters they've done, and I really like that episode. It's just again more continuation of like the disturbing gas mask stuff going on. Apart from like some bits are a bit. I think it's meant to be kind of funny. It's just like when because they kind of implicate it's gone like airborne now. So like, if you're in the vicinity, you'll get infected. So it's just like Captain Jack goes to speak to someone who's like, Jack, are you my mummy? And it's just like very nonchalantly.
Well, it's quite funny hearing like grown men saying, "Are you my mummy?"
Yeah.
So there's some
especially
good,
in like an old timey British.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And there's some good. Yeah, it's good like payoff. I like the whole like just this once everybody lives thing, because it is true. Like just like a lot of Doctor Who episodes, people just die. Whereas like this could be easily solved.
Yeah.
And I was saying to you, like, I really like the bit where like Nancy hugs like the empty child, and that's because she is her mum, and it's just like
his mum.
Yeah, and it's just the emotional stuff of that. Just like it's good, like bit of emotional,
it is emotional
because her like owning up to she had a kid really young and then abandoned it basically. Well, kind of like
raised it as it was her brother.
Yes, that was it, because she had it so young, and it's just like I am your mummy, I'll always be your mummy, and it's just a very nice like
got emotional, didn't you?
Well, I did not saying I cried, but I was just like, oh, that's sweet,
Couldn't stop this one. The waterworks just.
Yeah, part of the ways as well. That's like the final episode. I think it's a finale, just very, very good. Just the Doctor versus the Daleks. You kind of realise like how dark it is as well, because it's like the Doctor's plan to defeat the Daleks is basically to make like a weapon which will wipe him out, but it's sort of like he will also kill everyone on the space station and also kill everyone on Earth. I really love the Dalek Emperor as well. It's just the voice changer they use for that guy is just so good.
What's that episode? Is it that episode? Yeah, it is, where the Daleks are going through the tunnels to go and find all the other people on board Satellite 5.
Yeah.
And one of the girls with the two buns in her hair, Linda, who's been part of the story, she is in this room tracking the Daleks. And then you see she's like, oh, they can't get in through this door.
Yeah.
So what they do is they go outside of the spaceship, and there's this massive window in front of her, and you see the Daleks, floating upwards. There's three of them, and then because obviously they've got the little things and the lights, and you can't hear it, but it's going like exterminate.
Yeah.
And I just think, what a brilliant bit of television! That is just absolutely like quality. Like that could be in like a big budget film, and it just be like I just really love that scene.
No, it's good.
Brilliant.
It's good, like bits of just tension in that as well, and it's just like an all-out war on the space station because Elaine the Pain's there from Tracy Beaker.
Indeed, she is. Yeah, Laura Breaker.
It's just like that bit's so funny because she just like goes, "We did it!" Blinds one Dalek out of like 50 and gets exterminated. And then the guy who fancies her just goes, "No, no!" and then just gets exterminated.
And let's just talk for a second about the effect of when somebody gets exterminated and like the blue and you see their skeleton. Absolutely brilliant.
Green. It's not blue. Oh yeah, the blue laser, but it's a green skeleton.
Whatever.
They changed it to blue later on.
Yeah, maybe that's what
That's
I'm
what
thinking
I hated because I was like, oh, I missed the OG extermination.
It was brilliant. Yeah,
they
they do change it like quite a lot. That's definitely when it's at its best.
Yeah,
top notch.
Yeah, so that episode's just really good, and obviously it's just Eccleston's last one, and the whole like emergency program one when it's goes to when it takes Rose back to Earth and like imprisons her there, and they have to like get like a heavy duty vehicle to open up the TARDIS for then her to go back. It's just really, really good. Apart from like the bit of like soap opera acting where she's in like the fish and chip shop and she's just like kind of tries to give like a motivational speech. I feel like that bit's always weird. And like a weird bit of like sound mixing as well when like Jackie's talking to her about, because that's when Rose goes, I went to go see Dad when he died. And it's just, I don't know why, every time it gets me, I don't know whether other people feel this way, but it's just a bit of audio mixing where it's just Jackie goes, stop it, but like they kind of mix it too close together, so it's like, stop it! Every time. Gets me.
I don't know, I didn't notice that.
Me. I don't know why, I think it's probably just, it's either the line delivery or
I feel like audio mixing and dubbing really bothers you.
Yeah, it can do. When it doesn't look right, if it's not like...
Because I feel like we talk about that quite a lot by dubbing or something.
Yeah, so in that particular one, it could have been the line delivery or the audio, but that always, in that episode every time...
Well, she's just a terrible actress then, isn't she?
It's very soap opera.
She is a soap opera actress, what you do expect?
Yeah. So yeah, that's my second, and then number one is Dalek, which I feel like is a lot of people's favourite episode, and it is fantastic. Like, I feel like if I was to show anyone like an episode of Doctor Who, it would be Dalek.
Yeah.
Which, like, for those who don't know, is basically when Daleks get reintroduced to the series, and it's just like showcases like the threat that one Dalek can cause.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
which sets it up nicely for when they come back.
Yeah.
You do you remember it and you think,
oh my god, if there's
that's how bad they did, and like now there's like hundreds of them, like, oh my god, like we hate them,
Yeah.
It sets it up really well.
And like that's got some good like emotional bits in it as well, because it's the whole like Rose touches the Dalek, which then heals it, and then the Dalek starts to become more like human kind of, and like starts to feel emotions. It was just the Dalek. That's another one where like line delivery is a bit weird because it's like the Daleks as well, because it's just like, I have been contaminated. It's like, you touched me. So. Oh god, it's just like that episode. Yeah, it's just brilliant, because then there's like the bit where like basically they're like, oh, look, get all staff, we're gonna try and kill the Dalek, everyone get your guns out, and then it goes into this room and like just sets the sprinklers off so then water drips down on everyone and just electrocutes everybody.
Yeah,
it's just like so brilliant, you know.
Brilliant,
and I love like the climax as well, where it's like the Doctor obviously hates the Dalek and wants to kill it, but like he Rose kind of steps in the way to be like, oh, what are you becoming, Doctor? What are you, what's happening to you? And it's, he's like, oh, Rose, I'm sorry. And then
Rose really questions the Doctor a lot, I think. And I like that about Rose. Like, even though she, like, loves him and would do anything for him and she'd follow him to the ends of the earth, like, she can still, like, question him and, like, get him thinking. And I think they've got a really good dynamic between the two of them. Like,
grounds him a bit, like, tries to bring him back to reality, because he was, like, so dead set, I'm going to kill this Dalek. It's, like, the worst thing in creation.
She really humanises him, even though he is kind of human. Like, he's not human, he's a Time Lord.
Yeah.
She really humanises him. I think it's really
good. And just the bit where, like, the Dalek orders Rose to, order my destruction, and then just, just says, oh, fine. Not that she says kill yourself, but it's just, fine, I allow you to die, basically, and then it just, self-destructs, and it's just a really good ending. It's just honestly one of the best, like, bits of Doctor Who, like, television ever, It's fantastic. And, like, Eccleston as well is just so good. That first scene where he, like, meets the Dalek as well is, like, so good, because he goes from, like, I want to help you, I'm the Doctor, realises it's a Dalek, becomes afraid, and then he, like, laughs at it, and then it's all the range of emotions, because then he hates it as well, and then, tries to kill it there and then, but it gets stopped, kind of thing. It's just, really, just so good. Yeah. So good.
I think what's good about these, like, some of the good episodes that we've talked about, it's not just good episodes of Doctor Who, it's just good telly, like, in general, and it kind of, like, sets it apart. Like, it's not even just like, because there's some episodes of Doctor Who where it's like, that's a good Doctor Who episode, but maybe not just, like, a good bit of telly, but these they're, like, top quality,
yeah
so it was very enjoyable watching it again.
Do you have a least favourite episode from this series?
I think, like, it's one that, like, quite a lot of people go to, and I can kind of, like, see why, and it's The Long Game, which is the first episode on Satellite 5, where it's, like, Simon Pegg and the Jagrafess and stuff. And it's because kind of, like, also I hate Adam as, like, a short-lived companion. Like, he's just so unlikable. Although I think it was Isaac was mentioning the other day, actually, that they did, like, a spin-off comic series where he kind of went evil and, like, helped, like, the Master and stuff. So that was, like, interesting. But yeah, it's just not, like, the best. Not a lot really happens, and, like, the villain is also just, it's literally just like a. It's
you
like
don't really see
it's a sack on a wall, it's just this big alien on the roof, and it's just, I like Simon Pegg in it, because he's just like, I don't know, again, it's like as you get older, when he's just like, I represent a large consortium of banks, and it's just like, it's like, oh, corporations are the bad guy, and they're trying to control the information, so it's just like, I don't know why I found that funny, just, would you guys, like, agree, or is there, like, another one that kind of jumped out as being?
I feel like some of the Slovene ones maybe didn't hit as hard for me as a lot of the rest of the episodes.
Yeah, I have a soft spot for the Slovene ones, I think. I don't know why.
Sorry, carry on.
Sorry. I kind of have a thing about the last Slovene episode, because it's kind of the entire thing is just so that they can kind of hint at the, like, opening the TARDIS's heart and things for Bad Wolf later down the line.
Oh, like the Boomtown one. Yeah.
Because they're just kind of, like, laying the groundwork for that kind of thing. But also, like, when I actually think about it, it's kind of one of the Doctor Who episodes where there isn't really a massive threat going on for the entire thing. It's just kind of, you get to see a more human side to these creatures, but then obviously at the end she
just goes all evil
again.
I like that episode, like, because it's like the beginning is kind of like just them hanging out, like it's kind of like almost like if the Slovene element wasn't in there, it would just be like, this is one of our days out where nothing bad happens, because it's like them joking in, like, the cafe, and then he sees the newspaper and it's like, oh, I was having such a nice day, and then it gets ruined. But I can kind of see not too much really happens, and, like, the overall, like, threat isn't like they're going to blow up Canary Wharf and then destroy the entire world. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I did end up like the more I think about it, the more I do quite like that episode. I just I'm not sure I enjoyed, like, in terms of a two-parter. The Slovene one was probably the weakest from. Yeah,
true. Yeah, no, I can get that.
Yeah.
But yeah, also the funny scene where she keeps teleporting away and then comes. That's a good one.
What about you, Tulip?
Yeah, I kind of agree about it's Boomtown, isn't it? The last Slovene one.
Yep.
I never liked Father's Day, like, growing up. Like, I'd always skip that one. I'd never watch it, but I think I didn't, like, understand.
You, like, appreciate, like,
it more. The script, and the writing, whereas now I can watch it and really appreciate it. And I never really cared for the one, but again, I feel like a lot of them I didn't used to care about, but now I can appreciate them a lot more, I think. And that's like, because I never really liked the one where the dead bodies are coming back to life because of the gas, and and the sort of the monster there. But I kind of liked watching that again. Like I actually kind of enjoyed it this time. So I
like the Charles Dickens, like his character, and that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And I like the ending where it's like, he asked the doctor, like, am I remembered in history?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, how long do my books last? And he's like, oh, forever. And it's like, cheers him up a bit kind of thing.
Yeah.
I get you. It's one of like the slower episodes, and like not a lot really happens kind of.
Yeah.
And it's all like in the last 5 minutes is kind of when it gets resolved fairly quickly.
Yeah, there's not like it's not like a massive threat like when it is like the Daleks. It's like, oh my god, everybody's gonna die, Like it's not really like that. So there's some of like, but they're not like bad episodes.
I feel like when
they're still really good, but they're just not as like high intensity as the others.
I think when you've seen how bad Doctor Who can be, you kind of think, oh, thank God these episodes were like, these weren't even that bad. Like, it can be so much worse than this.
Absolutely.
It could be like, because again, the problem with like Jodie Whittaker's episodes that we watch is just like endless exposition or dialogue, and like no one speaks like a normal person. Almost, it's kind of like every time someone's talking, it's like to explain something. Whereas like Doctor Who, they can, Christopher Eccleston, they can like banter with each other. And there's still like a point to it. Whereas like, I remember when we watched like Jodie Whittaker, it's kind of like, oh god. Oh, the neutron flow needs to go in this. I need to use my sonic screwdriver to get out the door, and then I need to go and we need to get into TARDIS. We can't.
Nothing's assumed, is it? Like everything is laid out to you on a plate. Whereas there's a lot of hidden meanings and reading between the lines, and just casual conversation that doesn't mean anything. It's just conversation, but that's life, isn't it? So, yeah.
Not that this may get cut out, may not, but it's a thing we always joke about because it's again. The era
how times change.
Yes, how times change. There's just one funny line, again, you can laugh at it now, I think, is...
I don't know, can you?
I think you can, and it's it's the Aliens of London episodes when the Slovene are in it, and it's just the Doctor and Rose talking, because Jackie just slapped the Doctor and it's like, oh, that's not really her, and then it's just Rose going, you're so gay, and it's just like, ooh, just that. Again, it's just what was at the time.
I think it's interesting just how times change.
Yeah,
I think we did always like that was a word that was kind of like thrown around in that respect.
Yeah.
Which we would never say now. Like you would never see that in TV now, and you would never say that.
It's
live now. So
it's even like Russell T Davies as like a producer and stuff. Like obviously he's written like It's a Sin and stuff like that, and he
very much. I think he's very aware. Of what times are like now, and he kind of like writes for the time that we're in, I think. And does do it well, I think, a lot of the time.
He can acknowledge like when Doctor Who might have been a bit like backdated in like its views and stuff, and like it's all like now's the time with like Ncuti Gatwa's stuff to like obviously try and bring it a bit more modern whilst still trying to stay true to what Doctor Who was. And obviously like the specials, they did throw in like a few like newer concepts and stuff, is like, if that's what I'll call it.
Yeah.
Which obviously takes a for some people it'll take you getting used to, but then also it's just like that's just the times now. Like you need stuff like this in your entertainment. So yeah, there you go.
There you go.
That's my political commentary for this video.
No comment.
Yeah. Well done, Kieran.
No further comment.
You stay out of it. Well, not like you shut up, but you stay out of it. Much easier that way.
So yeah, that was Christopher Eccleston's Doctor Who. So best Doctor ever.
I still like David Tennant.
Wait and see.
Yeah.
David Tennant is my Doctor.
Underrated, but very, very good. Christopher Eccleston is what I'll say. So if you haven't watched his series, go watch it. It's 13 episodes.
If you've ever thought, if you didn't watch it originally and you kind of like, oh, I don't really know about Christopher Eccleston, blah 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 blah, just go and watch it. They're like episodes.
It is a good thing to try and get you into that era of Doctor Who. Like even if you watch Christopher Eccleston and then stop at David Tennant's last series, that is such a good collection. I feel like a lot of people
started with Matt Smith. Actually, like younger people like now started with Matt Smith. So definitely, like if you started watching it at Matt Smith, go back
Yeah.
and watch
Because things
the
were
earlier seasons.
so good back then. So, yeah.
Don't know what you're missing. If you only watch Matt Smith and onwards, you don't know what you're missing with
Oh,
like
God,
the
yeah,
earlier
yeah, yeah.
series.
Yeah. And there you have it. Those are our thoughts. Don't know what we're talking about next week.
I thought it was The Last of Us.
No.
Has Kieran not played any?
I haven't started yet.
One,
I don't think I'll be able to play it all in a week.
Yeah.
No, that's- yeah.
Yeah.
There's
I'll do my damnedest.
just
Dear
peeking
listener.
at the calendar to see what we got. No idea. Well, hang on.
No
We'll
idea.
I'll redo this.
Maybe Kieran's watch will tell us.
Well, yeah. I'll redo that bit.
Breaking out this week.
And there you have it. Those are our thoughts on that Christopher Eccleston era of Doctor Who. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let us know your thoughts in the comments on YouTube. And
Or whatever.
this is trying to like
Comment on
accommodate.
YouTube, follow,
Like on
rate
Spotify,
it.
yeah.
You can rate it on Spotify, 5 stars, whatever you need to do.
Any other rating, don't worry about it. Just rate it 5 stars.
Yeah.
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 Ignore the other ones who don't exist.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think again, like just before a massive thank you for like our 2024 like releases. Like you guys have managed to get a couple of our episodes to be in our top 10 of all time, which is pretty insane. Like the Fool Me Once one we've done is doing quite good.
Yeah.
So massive thank you guys. And yeah, for the meantime, this has been this episode of the Cinematic Trinity. I've been Michael.
I've been Kieran.
And I've been Tulip.